The Xbox One, the debacle of a console that made Microsoft the laughingstock of the gaming world in the early 2010s. Even the most loyal, die-hard Xbox fans were struggling to defend Microsoft's insane $499 launch price tag. And why in the world were they bundling each new console with Kinect? And what was up with the whole always online deal?
The advantages that you get of having a box that is designed to use an online state.
Backstage, Xbox engineers were horrified listening to Microsoft presenters at 2013's E3 in Los Angeles. Core gamers were left unsatisfied. Social media was unforgiving, with reviewers calling it the worst gaming event ever watched.
That was the worst gaming event that I've ever watched.
Sony's PlayStation 4 was outselling the Xbox One almost 2-1. Even PlayStation commercials were poking fun at the Xbox One's required download to play disc format, even though Sony would end up doing it later on. Things weren't looking great at Microsoft. The stock was tanking and execs weren't happy, so they needed to find an answer fast. So they decided to release this bad boy. Enter the Xbox One S. Launched on August 2nd, 2016 at just $399, this was a slimmed down, quieter version of the bulkier Xbox One that reports say sounded like a jet engine. While the Xbox One S was primarily available in white, there were some special editions released like Deep Blue, Gray, and both the Gears of War and Battlefield version. Microsoft was hoping that gamers might give the company a second chance if they released an upgraded console at a lower price point. What upgrades did they make, you may ask? Well, first, the Xbox One S is much smaller, about 40% smaller to be exact, which means gone now is the bulky external power brick of the Xbox One. The One S would have a simple power cord with an internal power supply. You can see me here breaking down the Xbox One S, and right there is the internal power supply. The One S also did not, and I repeat, did not include a Kinect with the system. At this point, Microsoft was trying to phase out Kinect, as the whole motion control hype was basically already dying as demonstrated by the Wii U. Instead, the way you'd control your TV is through this thing, the IR Blaster. Of course, this doesn't have a camera, so you can't play Kinect Adventures or Dance Central. The Xbox One S also came with a revised controller. Of course, most controllers came in white, but here I have the camo edition. The biggest update with the controller was now there would be Bluetooth support. Remember, the original Xbox One controllers did not include Bluetooth. So now, not only could you use your gamepad for your console, but easily connect it to a phone or PC to play your games there. Microsoft also said they improved the grip and texture. I don't know, I don't have an original Xbox One controller, so let me know in the comments if that's true, and be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this content so far. They also said the new controller had twice the wireless range compared to the original Xbox, and also the controller uses the same old AA batteries or play and charge kit. Overall though, this controller was supposed to be a pretty nice upgrade. The One S also came with 4K Blu-ray. Now, I have a boring old HD TV, so I'm not qualified to speak on this, but honestly, Blu-ray looks great either way on this. And this was actually one of the cheaper Blu-ray players you could buy at the time. Then with audio, Microsoft said there was supposed to be a bitstream audio pass-through which would support better surround sound, but my guess is that the average person probably doesn't have an entire sound system set up, so for most people, this really isn't a huge deal. The Xbox One S would also support 4K and 4K Ultra. Again, I have an old HD TV, so I can't really speak to this, but if you want to play games at 4K, well, there you go. You've got that option. Now, is this console worth getting in 2025? Honestly, I'd say yes. I think it's a great way of experiencing Xbox's world and just getting a feel for the brand before deciding if you want to spend almost $600 on a Series X. These things aren't very expensive. You can honestly find them for under $100 on eBay today, or if you're lucky, in a dumpster. Yes, that's how I found mine. And with Game Pass, you've got an entire library of games. The only thing I'd recommend having is an Ethernet plug from your router to the One S. Trust me, it'll make a world of a difference. Overall, this console makes sense. Remember, the Xbox was at its lowest point in its history. I don't think that it's much of a stretch to say that had things kept going the way they were, there's a really good chance the Xbox brand could have ended. The One S sold fairly well, with nearly 20 million units worldwide. The One S didn't just put Xbox back in the spotlight, it saved the brand. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoy content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more console stories and gaming history.